On my mind, gotta hustle and grind. Financial literacy always on my mind. I'm stacking knowledge, no time to waste. Gotta invest smart, gotta keep up the pace. I'm reading books, learning all the tricks, studying the market, making calculated picks.
What's good, everybody? It's your boy Reckless Ray Dinero, and we are back at it again with another Bag Talk episode on future financial strategies. This is your host, Reckless Ray Dinero. We're going to jump into it. Before we do that, I want to make sure you guys hit the like on the way in. If you guys have not liked the video already, also do not forget to subscribe. And last but not least, for those of you who are already rocking out with the wolf pack over here, I would ask that you share the video. Get me onto the algorithm. We're going to jump right into it. We're going to have a conversation today about one of the secret weapons that I am using to maximize my income account, my primary income account. You're going to start seeing a little bit more of our long-term non-Bitcoin holdings filtering their way over there, because our long-term holdings are going to be long-term holdings. I don't really need them sitting in that separate account, with the exception of the stuff that is really not marginable, because having it in my primary income account doesn't really help. On the other hand, some of the things in there do help. So, for instance, our Tesla shares. That's one that we're not looking to ever sell. We'll be leveraging it. It is marginable. So we're going to be moving our Tesla shares in lots of, most likely 5, over into the primary income portfolio. Right now we have 1. So not going to be doing any moves anytime soon, but it'll just add to our margin pool. We'll add to it in chunks. And that way, as we grow that account out, we can, get in there and do the things that we got to do with what we've got to work with. But one of the things that I am buying regularly on my payday, I get at least 1 share, is what I'm going to bring to the stage now. We're going to add that in. STRC. Now, I'm not necessarily going to micro machine myself for this conversation. I'll just go ahead and accept the cookies. We'll give MicroStrategy our cookies. That's fine. STRC is what I look at as a cash position. I look at it as a replacement for the standard American checking account. A lot of people keep a lot of money in the bank and they go, "Oh, I got high yield. I'm getting 4.75%. And a lot of people believe what the Fed tells them and believes that they're beating inflation, even though every year we all complain about the exact same thing: stuff getting more expensive, us being able to buy less with our available cash flow. And the funny thing is, now that we're in a Bitcoin transition, because I'm not going to say we're in a Bitcoin world, but we are transitioning to a Bitcoin backed world. We're starting to get tools that kind of flip that old ideology on its head of just putting money in the bank, because we can't. You're punished for that. Your buying power struggles year after year doing that. Saving up cash doesn't work anymore. They've created a scenario where we're forced to gamble in the market. And in doing so, it's really causing people to have paradigm shifts in regards to their relationship with money, how they navigate with money, and how they move with money, and how money flows through their ecosystem. And I say there specifically because everyone has an ecosystem that their money comes into. After you get your W-2 paycheck and it hits your bank account or your brokerage account, in my case, how that money flows is different for every person. It's different. And I look at a lot of content about people doing this, the same thing or similar things to what I'm doing. And I generally will pick through it. And if I can find a better way or more efficient way to do what I'm doing, I will do that. because at the end of the day, I don't have to be the innovator of the strategy. I just need to have a financial structure that works for me in my position now and is ever evolving as I'm growing, because that's one of the key takeaways that I've taken from growing up in this economy is you can't just do one thing indefinitely and think that that's it. You always have to be learning. You always have to be adapting. You always have to be incorporating and trying things, keeping what works, but also bearing in mind when things stop working and be willing to switch strategies to evolve your strategy, because what I'm doing right now isn't what I'm going to be doing in 5 years. For most of you, what you're doing right now from a work perspective isn't what you're going to be doing in 5 years. Hopefully, like if you're just stuck doing the exact same thing for 5 years, you got to look at, is there forward mobility? Are you still moving forward? And if not, you need to make some adjustments. You need to be refining your craft always. So that brings us to STRC Stretch, which is a fund, a preferred share from MicroStrategy. Let's give a rundown on what this product, this tool, I refer to most things as tools, especially in the financial realm. It's all tools to me. STRC is a short duration is their high yield credit preferred offering. STRC Stretch is Strategy's perpetual preferred stock that currently pays 11% annual dividends, payable monthly in cash. STRC's dividend rate is adjusted monthly to encourage trading around STRC's $100 par value and to help strip away price volatility. It is listed on the NASDAQ. STRC is available on most major brokerage firms and platforms. Now, what does that equate to? That means that the target price is $100, which means that we are buying at anything under $100. I will also buy at $100. Now, if it gets too far over $100, I will go to my secondary choice, which I will be doing a video on as well, which is SATA, SATA, which basically does the same thing, but it pays on the off week from Strategy. It does, however, not help my margin pool, which is why I like Strategy so much. So at 103 cents, I will still buy Strategy because it is adding to my margin pool. Now, when Strategy dips below 100, and every once in a while it does, I've seen it as low as I think $94, and I was trying to, I grabbed some shares then too. As the price declines, they raise the interest on the dividend. So they've got it up to 100 now. If it goes too far above 100, they will lower the dividend, and then people will sell it, and then it will drop below 100, and then they will again raise the dividend, and then people will buy it, and then it will go back up to 100 or above. As long as it's 100 or less, I every payday am adding at least a share. I pull that off the top, and then we work that into our strategy because it helps build our margin base. Because being fully invested, I am in a position to where I am actually living out of my brokerage, which means that my margin pool, I have to have a margin pool because I am borrowing money regularly from my own account. It is not at credit card rates. It is less than credit card rates, but expanding that pool with price volatility, because people will tell you, oh, well, if the price goes down, you can get margin called. Well, generally speaking, I'm not even using 50% of my margin, but I like to expand that pool so that I'm using even less than what I'm using as far as a percentage of the margin to get myself through month to month and still pay down debt and do all those fun things. STRC is a replacement for my checking account. I keep no money in the bank. I don't. Like, my bank accounts have maybe each account $25 unless it's holding money getting ready to be deployed. And at this point, I'm probably not even going to start. I'm not even going to do that. Like, there's just no point for me to hold cash in the bank account when I'm pulling it out of my margin anyways to put it in my bank account. I just pull it all at once. Like, it is just no reason for me to lose out on that additional income or that additional ability to pay down the margin faster. Like, I can do without that. So the things that I'm going to have to pull margin for moving forward, because January, as I said, like, we're still building the ship. This is my second month being fully invested. We're still learning. So one of the things that I can do during that period is the times that I am looking where I would normally pull money. I mean, I could technically, it'd be better spent to pull that money and move it into a position like STRC and then build that up and then borrow against it to pay off the said bill or whatever. That's something that I'm thinking about. I could just run as close to cash value as needed until the end of the month, and then you pull all that money out for when it's needed for the next month. As far as money that needs to be pulled, it's like the $1,600 for my personal loan that we're using to pay for our vehicle, for my vehicle. That's one of the large ones. I have my mortgage payment that comes out of that pool of money. And then I also have my, what's it called? My mortgage payment and my mortgage payment, and then utilities, like the chunk that I got to put towards utilities. So we're, I'm looking at all of these structures, and generally speaking, I mean, even sitting in an STRC for the duration of the month and then pulling everything out off of that, or again, being able to hit the margin and just borrow it and let the dividends pay it back. That's also another option. For me, this has been a game changer, because why would I sit my money in a checking account? I mean, obviously the safety of the checking account is that it never fluctuates. Your dollars are always going to be there, and then you get your few pennies at the end of the month. And if you're using your high yield savings, then you have the money readily available and there's no variability. Me personally, I'll take the $5 swings over time any day to get the amount of interest, because I don't live out of my checking account. I live out of my brokerage account. So my cash on hand versus a normal working class, middle class, low class, which doesn't normally have cash on hand. Most of you don't have cash on hand. The middle class doesn't have cash on hand. Because you're living hand to mouth. So like, you got to fix that first. But as far as saving money and keeping money in cash, which is low volatility, I understand Bitcoin. We move around in Bitcoin. It's a little bit hectic for your average bear. I understand that. Something like STRC, though, could easily, in my opinion, for someone who's looking to get the actual compound effects, because if you think you're compounding in your savings account, that is a joke. The bank's laughing at you. The Fed is laughing at you. I'm laughing at you. Everyone gets the joke but you at this point. Your high yield savings, you're not compounding in your high yield savings. It is, I mean, unless you have millions of dollars, and even if you have millions of dollars, numbers are numbers. You're getting 2 times more compounding with a little bit of volatility thrown in. Minimal, because they pay you when it gets volatile. You get paid more. So for me, the traditional high yield savings checking account, I got to just keep cash on hand, I got to have dry powder, makes no sense. No sense, especially when the dry powder is literally not even dry anymore. It might as well be wet powder at this point that you have to dry out and then deploy. That doesn't make sense to me. The math doesn't math on that. Now, something like substituting in a STRC, putting a little spice in your life, that totally makes sense to me. That's the reason I'm doing it. So the cash value in my high yield primary income portfolio is STRC. It will be STRC for most things. To be honest, like all of my portfolios that I have to keep dry powder in, STRC is the dry powder for me moving forward. I do not keep cash in accounts. If cash is sitting in an account, it's getting deployed within the week. If I'm not deploying cash within the week, it is not sitting. I keep enough cash in the bank to keep the accounts open. My bank account is pathetic. My bank account looks like most of your bank accounts. It's empty. So I'm a brokey. I got 3 accounts in there, $60, 20 a piece. That's all I have. That's all I keep in there, because that money in those accounts, when you factor in inflation, aren't working. They're not working. They're not working for you. Those dollars are not at work. Those dollars are sitting, waiting to find something good to do, something beneficial, which most likely is going to end up being something that you don't need. It's going to be some clothes. It's going to be some rims. It's going to be a car, something that's depreciating in value. And for me, the privilege of keeping my money in a bank and saying I'm associated with a bank just really doesn't hit for me anymore. Like, now that I understand how money works, now that I understand how compounding works in our favor, and how compounding can work against us, and how compounding is working against us when you factor in inflation. And I mean real world inflation, not the Fed inflation number where they get to switch around the bags, the basket of goods. They get to change it around to make the number look better so you don't get mad, as though we all eat chickpeas. I don't eat chickpeas. I've never eaten a chickpea. I don't think I've ever in my life eaten a chickpea. That they put that in there sometimes because it's cheap. Well, you guys can eat chickpeas. You can eat canned greens. I don't eat canned greens either. You should really look at what they put in that basket of goods sometimes and see if that's stuff you buy regularly. Because the stuff that I buy, I 100% assure you, I see the price going up in a noticeable fashion for stuff that I actually eat. For those of you who shop at Whole Foods, you know what I'm talking about. Prices aren't going down over there. For those of you who shop at Target, not Target is French, Target, stuff's not cheap there either. Heck, for those of you who shop at Walmart, stuff's not cheap there. The only place that's got affordable food at this point is Aldi's. And I'll tell you what, I love going there. I love that place. Love it. Getting in real good shape, eating clean, because they also have high food standards. They have higher food standards than Walmart and cheaper prices. Craziness. I know. I'd be getting into arguments with people about Aldi not being good. And I'm like, they have higher standards than Walmart and Target. like I don't know what you guys want aside from like a name brand or feeling like you went somewhere, but like, enjoy that. Like, that's cool. Keep eating poison. Keep eating poison for a premium. It's great. The STRC is the answer to the current issue. They're solving. See, MicroStrategy is solving problems. Everybody's like, oh, they're not doing any. They're like, no, they're definitely solving problems, because one of the main problems that we have is you put money in the bank and you can buy less stuff 12 months later. It's kind of a big deal. It's kind of ruined the American dream. It's kind of made it so that you can never save up for your house, because if you follow the Dave Ramsey plan, which hasn't been updated to modern times, and they never talk about the actual math of inflation, especially when it comes to homes. The home you pick out on Zillow in a year from now, you're probably still not going to be able to buy it unless you got a $50,000 raise. And that's if you spent no money. Like, you still got to exist and live while saving up for this house. So like, actually, you're probably 2-3 years down the road, unless you got 2 people who are working and you take one of the whole incomes and save the whole thing. Now, most Americans, y'all ain't good at saving money. You're complaining about money all the time. You're broke. So that's not happening. You're just putting the money in the bank, getting your 4%, thinking you're doing something because, oh, well, I don't have debt. Doesn't matter if you have debt if you can't afford to eat. But the reality is you do have debt. You guys are after paying burritos because they teach us how to use debt wrong. But STRC fixes that. STRC has made it to where you can save your cash. You don't want to do Bitcoin. I get it. You guys don't want to be in the fast lane. Sometimes you gotta get on there. When I started driving, I didn't drive in the fast lane when I got on the highway. I got in there. I got on that slow lane till I got used to it. And that's understandable. I don't expect people to just go straight to Bitcoin, even though, you're on a time scale. You don't have a lot of time to necessarily make that decision. I would educate myself as soon as possible and make that decision. But that's just me. Some of you guys got to get on the road in the slow lane. And I understand that, like, at this juncture, you think the slow lane is putting money in your high yield savings, but it's not. That is the shoulder of the road. You're driving on the shoulder of the road. And what we know about driving on the shoulder of the road is you're probably not going to be able to get exactly to where you're going. Now, you can get to where you're going in the slow lane. I will say that. I got plenty of places in the slow lane when I'm not feeling like smashing on it in the morning, when I'm on my way to work, when I'm letting my engine warm up, which those of you, I see you speeding right after you turned your car on. I'm going to give you some advice your parents should have gave you, because your cars are always breaking. You turn your car on, especially if you have like a modern car, a newer car. If your car's past 2000, you turn the car on, you let it run for 30 seconds or so, maybe a minute. The 3-minute thing, you don't need to do that. You're actually probably doing more damage than good at that point. But you turn the car on, you let it run for 30 seconds. Now, then you can pull out. You pull out of your driveway, you get on the road. You drive it gently for 10 minutes and let the oil warm up. Like, you don't, and what I mean gently is like you keep it between 2,000, 3,000 RPMs. You're not smashing on it. You're not passing people. You're just letting it do what it does, whatever speed. Now, see, my car between 2,000, 3,000 RPMs is still pretty quick. I can get on the highway. I'm fine. Nobody's on my tail. But I'm not going around the people that are speeding, because obviously you're sleeping till you have to be at work and you're almost late every single day. Trust me, it correlates with being broke. I understand. So you're smashing on it. And you're just going as fast as you possibly can. You're speeding because you're running behind, because you overslept, because you don't have your priorities in order, and you're tearing your car up. So then now you gotta repair the car that you don't have the money to repair, because you're constantly late to work. So you have to speed, and you're not letting your car warm up properly. You're driving it hard when the oil's still cold, and your engines are breaking down and failing. So that's some free auto game for you. And it's because the money's broken. Honestly, it is. I understand why people just YOLO their finances, because the money's broken. It's fundamentally broken. And everything downstream of that, your family, your values set, the way that you look at money, the way that you go about acquiring money, it's all corrupt, because it has been fundamentally broken from the root, which is the money in of itself. STRC offers us a solution for that. I'm not saying you should take my word for it. This obviously isn't financial advice. I am documenting my financial journey, but like, as I go through and add these positions, I'm going to do videos on all of them, because it's important for you, obviously, because people who watch my videos might not see these anywhere else. Some of you were in like the same algorithm, which is cool. So you do see it other places. A lot of other content creators that are in the financial space, especially those of us who are orange pilled and Bitcoin first, Bitcoin dominant, Bitcoin bulls. We all talk about a lot of the same stuff. The perspective that I'm coming from is what I'm doing. I don't have a lot of money. The primary income portfolio is under 6 figures. It will be under 6 figures for a while. Like, it's because it's not a priority for me. And my priority for that portfolio is to get me out of having to go to work. That is an easily attainable task for me with the lifestyle that I have now and what I'm doing now. To take away that have to, which means that, like, if I'm stuck at home, I'm injured, I'm stuck on the couch, I don't have to go anywhere. The income comes in the same. All my stuff's paid. My life is secured, which puts you in the realm of being financially free, because if you can stay at home and you get to choose whether you go to work or not, you are free. You are free to choose where you go and how you do things. Everyone else has to go to work. The only thing that's worse than having to go to work is having to go to work and not having the ability to store the value of the work you have to go do to use later. If you're putting your money in a high yield savings, if you're putting your money in the bank, your value is being robbed at a later date. When you go to use it and we all complain about how stuff got more expensive, the reason you're complaining is you already worked for that money. You already did a job, and this was affordable at the time that you did the job, but you saved the money like a good non-consumer. You saved it. I'm going to save up till I can buy it 3 times. We always hear those old adages. I'm saving up till I can buy it 3 times. I'm going to save up till I can buy it twice. I'm going to save up until I can buy that and the share of stock. Now the price of the thing, the little doodad you were trying to buy, went up while you were saving, and so did the stock price. You can get neither. Case in point, housing. Look at the housing prices. Everybody's waiting for the crash, saving their cash. I'm going to have all this cash, and house prices are coming down. House prices are going to come down, but it'll be after we've transitioned fully over into Bitcoin, because then houses don't become an investment. Most of you aren't even using a house as an investment. You just need a place to live, which is understandable. Your primary residence, I think you should own, because I don't like paying somebody rent because they said I owe them more money. I don't like that. I don't like not being in charge of the pricing of the rent. I don't like rent going up astronomically because whatever happened and those commercial loans get called and now they need astronomical amounts, or some company bought it out and now there's a person who owns the house that you live in, or the condo that you live in, or the apartment that you live in, that isn't even from this country, and they're like, yeah, I had to take this loan, this is the number now, so this is what it is. I don't care about you. I don't like not being in some semblance of control. And I understand taxes, but my taxes have never gone up to where my mortgage went up $500. It's gone up in 6 years. I think it's gone up $150, maybe. You can break that out of 6. It's not that much, a little bit. And my income actually surpasses that. I don't have to worry about getting a 30% raise because I'm not paying 30% more in rent. You guys are getting raises to compensate for what you're paying for the place that you're living at, and they're not even improving the place that you're living at. Let that sink in. It's also a pit. But again, I go back to STRC, and this is, for me, the slow lane. I understand people are like, 11%, that's too good to be true. Well, it's not. It's variable, and it ranges. Normally, it's around 10. 11, spectacular, though. Like, I'm not complaining about it. But it is slow lane in comparison to high yield dividends, actual high yield dividends, because technically speaking, 11% counts as high yield dividends. It's the slow lane of high yield dividends. It's horribly slow in comparison to Bitcoin. Horribly. And those are the two metrics, because those are the two things that I'm doing, is high yield and Bitcoin, because Bitcoin's at the foundation of everything. That's how I'm saving. I don't save in STRC. I keep a cash value to keep my margin available, a good marginable amount in STRC. But as far as saving, for me, it's Bitcoin. I want to be in the fastest lane possible with my savings. I want my money to accrue over time, and I don't want it to be in dollars, because dollars are deflationary by nature, or inflationary by nature. It's just more expensive every year. Bitcoin is deflationary by nature. It gets more, it can buy more every year. Dollars and Bitcoin are going in two opposite directions. So for me, I want to make sure that I am not going in the direction of dollars. I want to go as opposite as possible. This is slow lane, but it works in my brokerage account. It's great for that. It gives me a good amount of margin. It keeps the margin from being, super variable. So we keep a portion of this and then we set it on drip. And when I don't look at it, I don't use the income off my STRC position at all. I use it to buy more shares of STRC. Like I just want it just growing indefinitely and doing what it does. I would highly recommend everybody do their own research. I've got Strategy's website pulled up. It is strategy.com/stretch. Educate yourselves. Like these tools are things that I am using and they're working for me in the fashion that I use them. So like when I say STRC is the slow lane, for some of you, this might be the fast lane for you. All I'm saying is you got to get off the curb because you can only go so far on the curb on the highway. The curb doesn't go all the way places. It'll get you to the next on ramp, and then you're going to have problems. There's traffic there now. The old method, the boomer playbook, no longer works for us. This channel, my journey, me documenting my journey, I'm leaving the breadcrumbs, but I'm telling you what I'm doing. This isn't what I did. This is what I'm actively doing with my money, actively out making allocations to help me grow and get to a position to where in the next 18 months, I can sit here and firmly say, I don't have to go to my job if I don't want to. I can quit at any point. And it's not about not going to work. It's about not having to go to work. That's the part that doesn't sit right with me. And I think that's the part that doesn't sit right with most people. Most people that I talk to, it's not about having to go to work. Or it's not about going to work. That's the issue. It's having to go to work. It's not being paid what you're worth. Not being able to have the conversation, the fear around being able to negotiate what you're actually worth. And having to work hard while simultaneously being uncomfortable and or falling behind and still having to work that hard. It is utterly preposterous in a first world country. And I'm not joining the victim Olympics on this because I do understand that a lot of us get to choose where we work, but unfortunately a lot of jobs require you to go hundreds of thousands of dollars into debt. So like you're worth less than I am and I don't have a college degree. And now you get to make my coffee. That's probably pretty upsetting too because I am looking at you like you're stupid. Because you're supposed to be smart. You got a piece of paper that says you're smart. Everybody thinks I'm dumb. I got more money than you. I'm worth more than you. I own more than you. I'm on the right side of the K-shaped economy and you're not. And you're smart. Quote unquote. But there's no reason that we should have an economy where the game is set up to where you are forced to gamble in the market to stay ahead and or hopefully get to a point to where you can have some respite. We are literally expected to work until we're 70, 80, God knows when, because they're making us live longer. So they're probably going to have us work most of that time too. Providing to a system where some people get to do what they want to do, but you don't. And for the privilege of you not getting to do what you want to do, you get to break your body, your soul, and your spirit so that they can do what they want to do. I'm like, no, I want to be on that other side of that line. I don't want to have to do that. I'm not the type of person who can't work. I am worse left to my own devices sitting around. So that's not the end game here. But I refuse to willingly engage in playing this game from the position that I'm sitting in today. That's what it is. I don't want to have to go to work. I don't want to have to be subjected to asking for time off, to ask for a break. I want agency in my own existence. And in order to do that, that means I have to be accountable for my income. I have to be the one risking my money. I have to be the person who's from start to finish accountable. You don't get that going to something that somebody else built with your handout. You're not entitled to anything. None of us are. You get what you kill. You have to go hunt. If you don't want to hunt, then you're getting scraps from the person who went hunting. That's life. That's the way that it is. If you don't want to build, it's no one else's responsibility to take care of you with what they built. That's not how this works. If that's going to be the play, then no one's going to build anything. And guess what? Now you have no jobs. Period. Now you have nowhere to work. What then? What if everybody just says, yeah, that's just not worth it. I'm not going to do that. And for those of you who own businesses, they're like, yeah, tell them, Reckless Ray, y'all suck too. Because if none of us go to work, you don't get to do whatever it is that you want to do. Unless you can do every single job that you pay us to do yourselves, which you can't. I mean, honestly, most of y'all should just be in position to where you just collect a check from home because you're the linchpin in your own businesses. But ego is what keeps you there being the linchpin in your own businesses. But if all of us stop coming to work, you got to go to work. You're not going to just sit there and pretend like you have it so bad while everyone else is breaking their backs, legs, spirits, souls, working all the extra hours. We don't show up, you don't eat because you're not hunting for yourselves. To be honest, let's just keep it what it is. That means you have to do every single job. And I have seen very few business owners where they're doing every single job, especially the part of it that is generally the most laborious. Let's be honest. Let's be honest here. So a lot of people got a lot of soul searching to do, but for those of you who are in my position where you still have to go to work and you don't want to have to go to work, these are the things that I'm doing so that I can take that have to out of my vocabulary, because I'm getting ready. That's one of the things that we're looking at in 2027, 2028. We're looking at dropping have to. I don't want to have to do anything. I'm trying to drop that. I'm trying to drop that out of the vocabulary. And the last thing that I'll leave you with before we get up out of here is at no point in time is somebody who is benefiting off of your labor going to co-sign or give you permission to start hunting for yourself, because the benefit for them is in you being comfortable and you being stagnant and you being okay with where you're at. The only person who needs to co-sign, give you permission, tell you to start is you. You know who also probably co-sign, give you permission, tell you to start? Your wife or significant other, because they benefit off you. It's the same difference, but at least they benefit in the other direction. They're like, yeah, if you got more money or it was more comfortable around here, it'd be better for them. But the person who is benefiting from your labor, who is making money off of you, they don't want you to leave. They're making money off of you. And there's very few people with the character to actually want people to grow past where they are. Because the other thing is, they look down on you. And it's real hard to watch somebody that you look down on rise. Especially if it's potentially past where you're at. You're not going to get that from them. Lastly, and in closing, the best time to start fixing all of these things, to fix your financial situation, to start making those moves, was yesterday. Second best time is right now. So whenever you're seeing this, right now is when you got to start. Because if you don't, nobody's going to start it for you. No one is coming to save any of us. And I'm going to leave it like that. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to do some research, to do some studying. educate yourself on strategy. I highly recommend you guys go through all of their preferreds because they do have different use cases that fit in different financial situations. Let me know down in the comments if you want me to do my opinion / breakdown on them, because I can do that. I'm willing to do that. But STRC, I'm actively using. I will probably do another updated one on STRK. And yeah, they that's what I got for this week. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to hit that like. If you're not subscribed yet, especially if you've been here more than twice, go ahead and hit that subscribe and go ahead and formally join the Wolf Pack. Bunch of like-minded people over here. Tap in with me down in the comments. I do read / respond to all of them. And lastly, don't forget to share the video, especially if you got some value out of it, because if you got value, there's probably somebody who you are close to that is also on a similar journey, and you should go ahead and put that out there so that way you can connect with those people, because this is not fun to do by yourself, and it is so much fun to do with your friends. So that's going to be it for this episode, this bag talk. This is Future Financial Strategies. I'm your host, Reckless Ray Dinero, and until next week, I am out of here. Peace.
Money on my mind, yeah. Focus, got no time for games, nah. I don't play, man, I'm all about that financial literacy. Investing in my future, building generational wealth. Dollar bills, they be calling my name, but I ain't chasing fame, I'm chasing change. Learn the game, now I'm playing it smart. Putting my money to work, it's an art. I'm stacking paper, building my own empire. No more living check to check, I'm getting higher. Investing in stocks, real estate, and more. Gotta secure the bag, that's what I came for.